Welcome to the Power of Hospitality, the podcast that celebrates the people, moments, and magic behind unforgettable experiences. I'm your host, Valerie Gavin, and together we'll explore how hospitality transforms individuals, businesses, and society. We'll check in with hospitality pros, innovators, and leaders from a variety of businesses who go above and beyond to create connection, joy, and impact. Whether you work in the industry or just believe in service from the heart, this show is for you. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Power of Hospitality podcast. Today's episode is part of our Beyond the Lobby series, where we spotlight individuals who are expanding the spirit of hospitality far beyond the walls of hotels, restaurants, and venues. I am honored to have Mike Schugt here with me today. He is the founder and chief kindness officer of INNclusivity, which is a mission-driven organization that is really working to open doors for special needs adults and create meaningful employment opportunities for them in the hotel industry. Now, I have to give a little background on when I met Mike, which was 25 years ago. So 25 years ago, Mike was a VP of sales with Hilton, and I was interviewing for my first ever leadership role as a director of sales on property. And Mike was interviewing me for the role, and he also took that opportunity to really spend some extra time with me and share some advice and tools to make sure that I was really prepared to form the connections and the foundation with the team that I was about to start leading. And that really stuck with me. I used it throughout my entire career. And
wow.
He doesn't even know that. But it really did stay with me my entire career. A couple years later, I left the company, and it was several years later that our paths crossed again, and that was when Mike was president at Teneo Hospitality Organization. I was then VP Sales and eventually SVP Sales with Accor. And so when I think back on that first meeting, it was really clear that Mike has always been a champion of people and purpose. And so when I heard that he was starting INNclusivity, it really was not that much of a surprise to me. And then flash forward a few years into INNclusivity, he came and said, I'm going to leave this incredibly successful corporate job that I have and dedicate 100% to growing INNclusivity and really expanding the partnerships and creating more visibility and more opportunities for people that are often overlooked. And so I'm really thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Power of Hospitality.
Thank you so much. Wow. That's really quite a compliment. And thinking back 25 years, thank you. I mean, because, I think as leaders, we never really know if everything we're doing is exactly right, is exactly kind of what we're supposed to do, mainly because we're all going through it for the first time, So, sometimes to hear back about how one has done is really helpful and pretty awesome. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's true. And I knew I might embarrass you a little, but I had to say it.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's very kind.
So needless to say, I am thrilled to talk today. And with that, we're just going to jump right in.
Please.
And I wanted to start with, really what was the moment that inspired you, that you knew you wanted to start INNclusivity?
I think it was probably a few things over the years, and just always being interested in maybe helping others. When I was in college, I was a big brother for two boys in the Big Brothers and Sisters program. I'm a big brother today as an empty nester with my two daughters who are now one in college and one on her own. And believe it or not, I'm a big fan of Mr. Rogers, okay, who, by the way, is from Pittsburgh, my hometown, and who, by the way, went to Rollins,
Yes.
which is right across the street here from where Valerie lives. And but really, there was a moment, and I was at the University of Georgia for my daughter's graduation in May of 2023. And I walked into a Biddy and Beau's coffee shop, which is coffee shops around the Southeast in particular, and maybe even in some other cities that hire adults with developmental disabilities, mainly younger adults. And I walked in there, and, it just dropped me to my knees. It just flat out dropped me to my knees, looking at the individuals that were working there and their self-esteem, the pride they had, the smiles. And I just said to myself, like, there's got to be a way to help some more people. So I spent that long weekend with a lot of time at that coffee shop. I met all the employees. I met the owners. I met the parents. And I talked to everybody. And what was really funny is, I called up my daughter. I said, "Hey, Sophia, have you been here before?" And she says, "Yes, Dad. You see all those folks. Many of them are in the tennis club that we teach how to help them play tennis." So I said, "Hey, do you guys know Sophia Schugt?" And they're like, "Yeah, we love her." And I don't know, it just came full circle. And I went back and I started doing some things part-time, working with one school in particular here in Central Florida, Inspired of Central Florida, which is a vocational school for adults with developmental disabilities, and fell in love with it. And I said, basically in 2024 that, I'm in the back nine now of my life. So I said, there's an opportunity to really help people. And, on the bottom of my business card is from Mahatma Gandhi, create a world in which others can live better and, be the change we wish to make in the world. And that really resonates with me. And that's really what I'm trying to do.
And how beautiful is it that your daughter, without you even knowing, you've instilled that same spirit in her. You must have been so proud when you realized that she was also working with that man.
Yeah, my daughters make me proud every day, and it was very special because I knew she was in a club and she told me and so forth, but I didn't put two and two together. So, it was really awesome. And it was kind of like the exclamation point on it for me personally. So It's interesting how these things all come together.
So you knew that helped.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, now, so that's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
And then what went into getting you into the frame of mind that, wow, I need to dedicate 100% of my time to this for a while?
So for about a year and a half, we were doing all kinds of things. We were teaching workshops about leadership and hospitality at vocational schools and for adults with developmental disabilities. And then we tried a couple of these things called immersions, which we bring 10 or 15 of these folks to a hotel and give them a behind-the-scenes tour, let them interact with the chef. They get to make pizzas with the chef or do something fun and see if they're interested. And I realized that the need was really far greater than I ever anticipated. And now that I've been doing it full time for 9 months, it's really quite vast, the need. And really because, number one, you have folks that are adults and, when they're in their teenage years or before that, there's a lot of services available to them, services that are, the government provides. But when, as they get older and they graduate from high school and things, those services aren't quite as many. And so you find a lot of people maybe getting left by the wayside. they're sitting on their couch, or they're at home and they're not productive. They want to work. They want to be meaningful parts of society. And for the places that I go for vocational schools where I visit them, it's okay. They like that school, but they would like to do more. So the opportunity and the demand is great now, and so that's a big reason.
That's a good reason, absolutely. So now that I'm wondering too, because now you have for 9 months been really focusing 100%. Has anything changed in terms of, at the beginning of the year, what you thought success would look like versus today? Has it evolved, and what does success look like for you?
Well, when I started this, I didn't know how long I was going to do it. I thought maybe, okay, do I want to take a year off, 2 years? I mean, is this the rest of my life type of thing? And what started happening was I would just go from one location to another. So we started in Orlando, then we opened this up in San Francisco, in New Orleans, Atlanta, and Pittsburgh, my hometown, and close now to Denver. And I've been to San Francisco a couple of times, and I just realized that this is transferable everywhere. That there's so many folks out there that want to work, that want to do different things, and but what really happened, that was almost unexpected, is we applied for something called a 501c3, which is a nonprofit designation by the government. That allows one to get funds through grants and foundations, and so forth. And what we thought was something that was going to happen maybe in 2026 became available on September 1st of this year. So just a few weeks ago, we got our designation as a nonprofit organization. And so for me now, the game is on. That the opportunity is endless. That this is the right thing to do. We are helping people that need help. The sign here is from unseen to unstoppable. And there are, what I find is when somebody in this space actually gets a job, it changes everything about them. It changes how they think about themselves. It changes, how they act, how they interact with their family. It changes their family. Their families aren't as worried about them. Their families are proud of them. As they always have been, but now they look at the individual, with the thought that my son or my daughter is a happier person today. What one mom told me that she hadn't heard her son sing in the last 3 years, and now he's singing with it, on his way to work. And it's those little things like that make you realize that it's not about money. It's not about anything. It's about, we're in this amazing hospitality industry, and we can all come together to help folks that could really use some help. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't take too much on our part to hold up our end.
Yeah, that's so true. You've seen a lot over the course of a year. I mean, it's really pretty amazing. I was thinking too, you spent an entire career leading world-class sales teams. Have there been experiences or things that you've taken from your career that have helped you as you're building INNclusivity?
I think everything I've taken and into this opportunity, because it's so multifaceted, and you kind of just start out with it thinking, okay, let's take one step at a time. Let's go to one city at a time. And at the end of the day, what it all boils down to is leadership. It really does. It's really about, how to create something that is going to help people beyond the realm of maybe what they thought could be, and how you can help people maybe beyond the realm of how they thought they could help themselves. So, it takes I think, a little bit of thinking about it, and using your leadership skills, creativity. Now I'm combining all those things with business skills, because now we're developing budgets for grants and all those things. So it's taking on that. I think at the end of the day, it's also about, just being a kind person, and I think when you're in the throes of leadership, and you're, whether you're maybe working as a leader of a company or as a VP of a sales organization within a hotel company, things happen so fast and furious. And sometimes it's hard to be your kindest self in those environments, because it's stressful and there's a lot of competing priorities and the brain is full, And I noticed that throughout my career, I found myself in that position, and, trying to reflect, well, you can do all this and still be the kindest version of yourself. And I think that has been the number one lesson that I've learned, is that, without some of that ongoing chaos, that, perhaps the real me's coming out in this role. And that is really gratifying.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And that has always been you. Like I said, it was the first impression I had of you. And it's just that now you get to do it full time.
Thank you.
And
I'm going to go home and tell my mother that.
Yeah, you should. I'll back you up.
Thank you. Thank you.
It also strikes me, I really, just reflecting on everything that you just said in the last two, it's kind of this ripple effect too, right? So you're impacting the individuals that you're helping find this work, and you're clearly making them happy, but then you're also impacting their parents, their families, their loved ones. And I'm sure they're also bringing a lot of joy to those that they're working with in their new roles too. So there's a huge kind of ripple effect of joy that you're spreading.
Yeah, I think there's, I think at the end of the day, when we're all kind to one another, it really is a positive vibe. And for some of those that are working in hotels today, where we help them get jobs, it's not all perfect, because look, at busy hotels, things get challenging. But what I've learned so far is that, as hospitality people and as hoteliers, we like to take care of one another. We already have a predisposition of that. We're taking care of the guest. We're taking care of each other as employees. That is the fundamental culture of the hospitality industry. And so when we have somebody that needs an extra hand, and we can help prop them up, that is so aligned with everything hospitality is about. And you're right. A lot of folks are getting impacted by this. And I think the coworkers would be the first to say they are as well.
Yeah, I believe that. I definitely do. And it's interesting along the lines of where you're going. There's a question that I've been kind of pondering a lot lately. And it's part of the reason for this podcast, is really trying to think, how can that hospitality mindset even help just with some of the greater challenges that we have in society today? Like, do you think that hospitality frame of mind can make an impact?
I think it exists in so many things, obviously outside of inclusivity. I think, but when you talk about, I was sitting down with one gentleman, and he was telling me that, Mike, my life's tough. People have been looking down on me for a greater part of my life. And when I go home, sometimes there's a loop in my head that I have a tough time getting out of. And so when that same exact person is now employed, the feedback is, well, Mike, now that I'm working and not thinking and I'm doing physical work, that really helps me. And, this has made me happy. Okay. So, making people happy one person at a time is enough, but the thing about it is the hospitality business and the hotel business, has so much opportunity where it's maybe just not people that have intellectual disabilities, but there's a lot of folks out there that would like to be gainfully employed and so forth. And I believe the hospitality industry has the resources, the heart, and the care to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the bottom line. We want to belong.
Sure.
Yeah. I love that. How have hospitality partners responded to what you're doing so far? And is there something that you really want leaders in the industry to know?
It's been pretty amazing in many respects. The partnership and the cooperation that I've received. One of the things that's interesting is I think in 2025 we're finding that it has been a challenging year for hotels across the board. And that means that there's more pressure on them. There's a lot of competing priorities, a little bit of downsizing going on, kind of market by market. So, I think that, to then add things that are not necessarily right in line with all the other things that are happening is a little bit of an inherent challenge. But having said that, hotels have been amazing. So just in these 5 cities, soon to be 6, and we've gone to a couple cities twice, we've put over 150 people through these immersions. I've had an opportunity to do workshops at the local vocational schools for over 300 people. And we're hiring people left and right with more to come. So I think overall it's been exceptional. I think, a message that I would love for folks to hear out there in the hospitality industry is that one shift changes a life. It's just one shift a week changes a life. And again, I know, because I've been doing it for 36 years, that when you bring somebody on your team, it's just not that simple. There's a lot that takes place. One good thing is we always have job coaches with the folks that are hired so that it takes the strain off of the HR and the departments. Okay. But even then we know it's not perfect, but one shift or 2 shifts a week changes a life. And, I believe that, yes, I'm oversimplifying a little bit, but I believe that so many people can be impacted with a couple shifts a week that it's my hope I can continue to get great support.
You can. And I mean, look, that's the best way to start anything, is to break it down to the smallest, easiest, most accessible thing you can do. I love that. One shift. That's all you really need to make a huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, our business model is easy as you can get. We are helping people get jobs, that can do great work. And, I think the other message is that while there's this amazing group of folks right now on the sideline, we know there is a labor shortage in the hospitality industry. And we also know that the percentage of contract labor is higher than probably ever in many different cities. And, there is a capable group of folks. So as one general manager told me, she said, Mike, it's not charity. This person's doing a great job for us right now. And that's the key, is that we're going to provide opportunities to these individuals, but at the same time, they're delivering on what is expected of them. And that's a big value to the hotels, because if they can get that flexible labor to come in, do a great job without additional costs or high costs or things like that. And at the same time, we're helping an individual improve their lives. It's a great situation.
It's a great thing. I love it. If there's someone that's listening now that wanted to get involved or partner or support you in any way, what would be the best next step for them?
Well, I'm very informal, so my phone number is the easiest thing to do. A text. I'm a text away, but our website is INNclusivity with 2 N's .org.
Sure.
Okay, .org. So there's for ease of memory. I'm available and 24/7. We're open, and sending me a text or an email is really easy. So we're very much interested now that we have fund. Well, no, we don't have funding yet, but that we have the ability to be funded. Is that now it's a new game. And there's no ceiling on inclusivity. And for next year, the goal is to expand into 25 cities and to hire folks as job coaches. We did hire our first individual, Sophia Pearson, who's our Director of Social Services, on July 1st. And she's doing a tremendous job. And there's just so much work to be done. But there's really nothing holding us back, and so that's our plan, and that's really a message from us.
Yeah, 25 cities and 26. That's a bold...
I might have to change it now to 26.
It might have to be 26. Yeah. 26 and 26. There you go.
Exactly.
Get one more. You
26 and 26. See?
You heard it here first. Yeah. Created it right here.
This is what the 28 years or 30, I won't date you, of your marketing experience has just come out.
There we go.
It's
we got it.
Top of your head.
See, it's
Thank
coming.
You.
It's coming. That's amazing. It's great. I'm so glad that came through earlier than you expected, and you're able to really use that to fuel the growth. I love it.
Yeah.
It's really powerful what you're doing. Thank you. Before we wrap up, I want to ask just a couple questions that I'll ask all my guests.
Oh, right.
So the first one is, when you hear the name of the podcast, The Power of Hospitality, what does that say to you, or what does that mean to you?
For someone that's been in it since they're 15 years old, starting as a dishwasher, it is a title and a saying, I think, that is, just by its words, extremely powerful, because the hospitality industry is so diverse, okay? And it is so strong. And what makes it so strong are not only the brands and the buildings and the organizations, but it's the people. The people, because people are the ones that are delivering the hospitality. And there's no limit or ceiling on the human capacity. There's no limit to it. And so it speaks to the limitless possibilities of what's available in our industry.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I like that one. It's my favorite so far. Who is someone in hospitality that has inspired you, and why?
Wow. That's a huge question. And I think, one thing that happened to me very early on in my career, I started my career with Marriott Hotels, and Bill Marriott walked into the sales department at the Westchester Marriott and sat down in my office and started talking to me.
Wow. How old were you?
I was like 24 years old, I think. 23 or 24 years old. I'm like, what?
Wow.
One of us are in the wrong place. I was thinking to myself. And, I think the humility that he showed by coming here and coming there and talking to me face to face left an indelible impression. And, I've been with a couple of companies. Marriott's philosophy back then, I still think it's the same way now, is take care of the people and the people will take care of the guests. Take care of the employees and the employees will take care of the guests. And boy, it couldn't have been a better, human example. And so I walked out there thinking to myself, and I still think about it to this day, is that, that level of humility and really making sure that you're listening to your employees, and you're kind enough to stop and have a discussion. I mean, those are the things that really mean the most.
Yeah, it stuck with you all these years.
Yeah,
for good reason. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, really, your heart and your mission is exactly what this podcast is about. And I thank you so much for sharing it with us today. I will include in the show notes for anybody listening, I'll include the website, his cell phone, so you can text him. And I would say if you liked what you heard, you think anyone would be interested in supporting INNclusivity, please be sure to share this podcast with them. Mike's got an aggressive goal, 26 in 26.
It just went up today. So you're a true sales leader.
I'm raising the bar.
You've given me an additional quota.
Exactly.
Okay, you've been doing that your whole life.
I haven't gotten rid of that yet. So share it with someone who can help Mike achieve that goal. And really, until next time, I think let's take inspiration from Mike and spread a little joy and create the power of hospitality. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Power of Hospitality podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing it with someone who would be inspired by the conversation. I'd really appreciate it. You can find more episodes and resources at powerofhospitality.com or ValerieGavin.com. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another conversation. Until then, let's all spread a little joy through the power of hospitality.